very, very aggressive and told us that the entire river belongs to them and that we need to get out of the river right now. If not, we need to go get clearance in Livingston before we enter the river. And we kept on saying, no, part of the river belongs to Belize. At this time, we were not even close to the Sarstoon Island. We were on the banks of the Sarstoon River itself. And he insisted that we move. And then he started acting very aggressive, as you can see from the video, where he told his captain to reverse their boat and to really slam into, to come at our boat with full speed, which, basically to crash into our boat with full speed. He also told us, as you could listen to the video, where he said he can shoot our engines, so, I mean, it was totally out of order. And, I'm hoping that the government could do something about it. So far, up until this time, we have not heard a word from the government for us to give the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or the Ministry of Defense an account of exactly what happened.
In a release issued today, the Belize Territorial Volunteers BTV urgently called on the government of Belize to take decisive and immediate action in response to the violation. In the release, the BTV demands that the GOB file a formal protest to the Guatemalan government and appeal to the international community for support and intervention. The BTV also demands that a diplomatic note be sent in the strongest possible terms to convey the country's condemnation of the GAF's actions and to call for an immediate cessation of such hostile activities. The group also called for the establishment of a Sarstoon protocol. Of note is that the incident comes days after Prime Minister John Briceño visited Guatemala officially and held talks with President Bernardo Arevalo on, among other things, the situation at the southern border. Amidst thousands of supporters, the People's United Party hosted a joint endorsement convention for the 4 area representatives of the Orange Walk District on Saturday, August 31st at the Philip Alvarez Park located in the Orange Walk Central constituency. The convention provided the Blue Party the perfect platform to prove that the Blue Wave was stronger than ever. Apart from party supporters, the endorsement convention for Prime Minister John Briceño, Jose Abelardo May, Kevin Bernard, and Ramon Montes Cervantes saw several government ministers and officials, including the Honorable Karim Musa, Honorable Oscar Mira, Honorable Oscar Requena, Honorable Florencio Marin Jr., Honorable Rodwell Ferguson, Honorable Dolores Balderramos Garcia, Honorable Osmond Martinez, Honorable Julius Espat, Honorable Henry Usher, Honorable Anthony Mahler, Carazal Bay Standard Bearer Thea Garcia Ramirez, Albert Standard Bearer Kaya Catus, and Deputy Prime Minister Cordell Hyde. Mayors Ladrick Shepherd, Wally Nunes, and Riga Veos also witnessed the endorsement of all 4 candidates as they took the oath and officially accepted the nomination to contest the next general elections.
Lo están sintiendo en las venas ahorita. Marshals, we can go ahead. Yes, we're just waiting for the marshals to make their way forward.
As we have the marshals doing their parade with our national flags.
And let's give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The PUP marshals with our flags, with the colors of the country and the colors of the party coming into the auditorium. And let's give those marshals another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The marshals have given service to the party for years and years and years, and it is their duty now to bring in the standards, to bring in the national colors of the country, to bring in our beloved blue and white, preceded by our national colors. And the Prime Minister receives the Belizean flag. It's a moment of honor, a moment of pride. Let's all join in with the applause, ladies and gentlemen. Our Prime Minister receives the Belizean national flag from the Marshals. Their duty has been done this evening to the party.
After the oath, each area representative was called to deliver their endorsement remarks. Ramon Monchi Cervantes was the first to the podium.
En Orange Rock Norte, continuaremos con las pavimentaciones de las calles en las aldeas. Construiremos más escuelas y seguiremos promoviendo el deporte. Pronto construiremos una estación de policía en Trail Farm. Daremos más asistencia para la educación y atención médica. Continuaremos con las asistencias sociales. Seguiremos solucionando temas de terrenos que han estado estancados por muchos años y haremos más terrenos disponibles para la gente. Seguiremos con las asistencias a los más necesitados. Continuaremos apoyando a los cañeros y la industria cañera. Aunque mucho se ha cumplido, mucho más hay para hacer. Y no cabe duda que solo con un gobierno PUP, Belice seguirá prosperando.
Yes.
Solo con un gobierno PUP habrá más desarrollo. Solo con un gobierno PUP habrán más oportunidades de empleos y inversiones. Solo con un gobierno PUP habrá prosperidad para todos los beliceños. Como su candidato del PUP para Orange Rock Norte, me comprometo humildemente a seguir el adelanto, el progreso y el desarrollo para toda la gente de Orange Rock Norte.
Palmar, ladies and gentlemen, as well, I can tell you, we are coming even bigger in Palmar. We have done a lot of major works, but there's much more to be done. And I can guarantee the residents of Palmar that under my leadership, their two main roads will be paved. When you look in the town, ladies and gentlemen, I must big up our mayor because he and his council have been working together with us in Orange Walk East, and more than 30 streets in our town have been paved in Orange Walk East, and we will not rest, we will not end till every street in our community in Orange Walk East is also paved. But we can go further, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to education, when it comes to land. I know that has always been a challenge in Orange Walk East. Consider 5 lakhs that will go to the first time landowners. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what Plan Belize is about. And I want to stand here today and I humbly accept your nomination as your candidate for the next upcoming general election. And I can tell you that Orange Walk East will deliver once again PUP.
Today, my friends, under the leadership of Prime Minister Briceño, the shrimp industry is reviving. We are struggling and working with the sugarcane industry. We will solve it. We will. I have 5 more years to solve it. But we will. We are bringing back the citrus industry. The banana industry is rebounding right now. The cattle industry is growing more. The grain industry, my friends, you're supposed to be proud Belizeans. In this country, we don't import a grain of corn, a grain of rice, a grain of beans, a pound of pork, a pound of chicken, a single egg, a pound of beef. We produce everything in this country under the PUP. So, my friends, we have a good team. We have good intentions. Over the next 5 years, we will take Belize to the level never seen before. But for that, we will need your support. And with that, my friends, we will be in a place that we've never been before. I told the Prime Minister, I almost want feel to advise you to advise the Governor General to call elections at 30 days. But then I remember something. I can't because I haven't finished the Guinea Grass Road yet. And then I not finished electrify St. Carlos and Indian Church and Fireborn yet. And then I not finished the road from St. Carlos to Indian Church yet. And then I need to finish the road from Indian Church to San Felipe. And then we are calling elections.
And then it was time for the man of the hour, the Prime Minister of Belize and Orange Walk Central Area representative, to address supporters.
Plan Belize, ladies and gentlemen. Plan Belize is a transformative document. And I know that the UDP will come to you and tell you, oh, you may say, man, this is such and such a thing. And a Plan Belize, and you not get it done. But Plan Belize is a plan that will take us 10, 15, 20 years to achieve. Look at what we have done. We have reduced our debt from 133% to GDP to 67% in 3 years. No government in the world has ever done that. When there was unemployment of 30% and underemployment of another 30%, thanks to the People's United Party, unemployment is at 3%. Our people are working and our people are happy with the government of the People's United Party. But we can continue with the long list of accomplishments. But today, ladies and gentlemen, today we are celebrating as a family, as we get together, as we prepare for the next election. And I know many of you are saying, well, look at what the Imbaro did. The Imbaro decided to call elections in 3 years and 3 years and a half. But you elected us for 5 years, and we still have a lot of work ahead of us. And we could call elections today, and we are going to win the elections. We could call it in October, and we're going to win the elections. We could call it in December, and we're going to win the elections. We could call it next year, and we are still going to win with the People's United Party, PUP! PUP! But winning elections, ladies and gentlemen, requires hard work. I know that many of us, as ministers and representatives, we are busy. We are busy in Belmopan, trying to get this country back on track, trying to create opportunities for you, trying to get more scholarships for you, building more schools and hospitals and giving you more scholarships. So you need to help us. We have to make sure that we get our people registered. Make sure that you get your children registered. Make sure you get every family member registered. Get your neighbors registered. Get your friends registered so that when we call the elections in Orange Walk District, we are going to win for the People's United Party, ladies and gentlemen. And when we go to Corozal, how much are we going to win? We are going to win 4 for the People's United Party. And when we go to Toledo, how much are we going to win? We're going to win 2 for the People's United Party. And in Stank Creek, how much are we going to win? We're going to win 2 for the People's United Party. And in Cayo District, we're going to win 6 for the People's United Party. And when we go to the Belize District, a district where the UDP always felt that they used to control and they felt that they used to own Belize District, especially Southside. This time, when we call the elections in Belize District, we are going to win 13 seats for the People's United Party. So tell me, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for the PUP? Are you ready for the victory? PUP! 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 Thank you! God bless you! Hasta la victoria!
I do solemnly swear to work for the achievements of the aims and objectives
of the aims and objectives
of the peaceful, constructive Belizean revolution,
of the peaceful, constructive Belizean revolution,
the principles and programs
the principles and programs
of the People's United Party,
of the People's United Party,
to abide by the Constitution,
to abide by the Constitution,
discipline and decisions
discipline and decisions
of the People's United Party,
of the People's United Party,
to vote for
to vote
vote
for
for
and encourage others to vote
and encourage others to vote
for all candidates
for all candidates
of the People's United Party
of the People's United Party
in all elections,
in
all
all
elections.
elections,
and not to be a member
and not to be a member
or supporter
or supporter
of any other political party
of any other political party
or any organization
or any organization
whose philosophy,
whose philosophy,
ideology,
ideology,
principles, policies or programs
policies or programs
are contrary to
are contrary to
or inconsistent with
or inconsistent with
those of the People's United Party.
those of the People's United Party.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Earlier this month, the Northern Sugar Industry announced an excellent second payment to farmers, which was based on a record high price estimate of $75.20. A release from BSI ASR attributed the record estimation to improved global market prices coupled with strategic investments by the industry. While higher payments are welcomed news for the industry, BSI ASR called on stakeholders to focus their energy on improving productivity and yields, which continue to be among the lowest in the entire region. Today, the Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Hossamai, spoke on the matter, citing that the issue is twofold since the need for increased productivity also raises the need for increased milling capacity. The problem in the industry, however, can only be amended if all those involved work together, according to Minister Mai.
The argument can be made from both sides. If I am a farmer, the mill can only mill a certain amount of sugarcane. That you won't change that. If I'm a farmer and I'm getting 20 tons per acre, and I manage barely to deliver my sugarcane, why do you want me to get 30 tons per acre? The argument that I understand the mill is making is, well, you need to increase your productivity. And instead of 30 acres, you do 15 acres. What if I want to do 30 acres? Right? What they're saying, okay, productivity means more cane per unit area. Okay, what if I want to do 30 acres and I want 30 tons per acre? I mean, why would you want to stop me? So, it is a chicken and egg situation. The mill says, I won't invest in expanding the mill because I'm not sure if they got cane out there for it. The farmer says, I cannot increase my productivity or my production if the mill cannot mill the sugarcane. Now, there has been in the past where there was abundance of sugarcane, 1.6 million tons, and the mill was not able to mill it. So why would a cane farmer go borrow money from the bank, plant the sugarcane, when there's a risk that he or she will not be able to deliver the cane? That makes no sense. It makes no sense. The mill in Obregon, in Mexico, right over the river, they do 10,000 tons a day. We are still coughing and sneezing with what we are doing right now. So there has to be some serious thought given to this, right? I mean, you just can't criticize for criticize. I mean, if the farmers, if all of them were to get together and say we'll raise the productivity, I will apply more fertilizer, right? And then you do that and you can't deliver a cane, why would you do that, right? And so you can't blame them. We need to see a serious reform. And that's why the Commission of Inquiry is very important. It's very important to get all the facts correct and let them start criticizing and throwing stones at each other and solve the damn problem, man.
The Commission of Inquiry into the sugar industry moved to Belmopan today, where personnel from Santander Sugar Mill appeared before the commissioners. Last week here in the north, the commission saw testimonies from BSI-ASR as well as the Sugar Industry Control Board and its agencies, and from the largest cane farmer associations. Representatives from the smaller Progressive Sugarcane Producers Association and Corozal Sugarcane Producers Association were scheduled to appear last Friday. However, their appearance was moved to this Thursday. And the weekend should have seen the Northern Sugarcane Association appear before the commission. However, that did not happen either. No indication has been made as to when they are expected to appear. Upon speaking about the ongoing process, Agriculture Minister Honorable Hossein Bight today called out the smaller associations for not adhering to the schedule put forward by the Commission, which has set out to improve the industry on a whole.
And talking about the Commission of Inquiry, I know that the smaller associations were scheduled to appear. They did not appear. The Commission has cited, that they decided to change, but I know that the Northern was supposed to appear over the weekend, but I didn't see them appearing as well. Do you see this something that would hinder the work of the Commission?
I think it's unethical first and foremost because there's a schedule. BSCFA appeared, they made a good presentation. Of course, the others were listening, the allies were listening. They decided not to go. They want time to think and rethink and probably sit down with BSI and come up with a strategy to respond. I don't know. But I find it unethical, unprofessional, right? If you're sure at what you're doing, you're convinced what you go and sit down and represent, right? But that's the commission and the chairman to decide what they will do. I find it very, very unethical to do something like that. You decide, you can't come in. For some unknown reason, both of them, strangely, mysteriously, at the same time. I mean, it just speaks volumes, right, of what their plan is. But I am confident that we have good commissioners. They are very objective, very professional. And at the end of the day, they will make important recommendations for the reform of the industry.
Coming up next, livestock industry in Northern Belize moves towards genetics and management. We take a trip to Blue Creek to show you how cattle farmers are progressing. Stay tuned.
We're calling it a multi-purpose park because it will have a variety of services and amenities. So right to my left here will be a state-of-the-art parking lot. Immediately in front of that, in 2 acres, we will have a hotel and convention center. Then on this side here, it's going to be recreational areas. On the northeast side, we're going to have an amphitheater for musicians so that persons visiting could have high-quality entertainment with our well-known artists in Dangriga.
With this project, it gives the community an opportunity to work, to invest, to grow. More revenues for the town council. That means more streets, more drains, more parks, more playgrounds. The economy grows.
All of us have collaborated on making this a reality, and certainly this will have a huge impact in terms of employment, in terms of quality of life.
This evening when we're looking at the park and the multi-purpose use of this park, this green area, and convert it to a park, again, it has to do with people, that they could bring people together.
Today, our news team joined Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Jose Abelardo May, and his technical officers from the Ministry of Agriculture as he took part in a tour of cattle farmers in the community of Blue Creek here in the Orange Walk district. The tour encompassed visits to various small cattle farmers who are a part of the Blue Creek Livestock Association, who form part of the over 5,000 livestock farmers across the country who have been working to increase exportation in the past few years. The visit, according to Minister Mai, offered valuable insight into the growing livestock industry in northern Belize, which has moved towards better genetics and management of the industry.
There are three things that are required in cattle production. The first is genetics, good genetics. The second is good food, grass, pasture. And the third is good management. Those three things. Because the price is good, because there's a lot of investment, Belize has now formed its own genetic registration company, so to speak. So they have what you call a registered Zebu breeders company. Actually, it's an association, I think, association of breeders, but that's Zebu. So what we went to see earlier this morning was the breeding stock that they have here in Blue Creek for Nelor. We saw the Nelor that are being raised by Mr. Frank Rempel. And excellent, beautiful animals. They're registered animals. They come from imported genetics out of Mexico, and he breeds them, and he has excellent bulls. So farmers come and buy these breeding bulls because they are good genetics, and so people are investing more and more in it. There is another farmer who is breeding the Brangus, which is a 5/8 3/8 cross, which is what defines a Brangus animal. It has 5/8 Zebu and 3/8 Angus, that's called a Brangus. And those animals also have good average daily gain, they have good marbling, and they have a good percent dress weight. Often you have people say, oh, the beef in Belize is hard. It's not that. We are trying to do the breeds that will give us the marbling and give that soft and tender meat. So we're getting there slowly, but we saw those two farms, the Brangus and the Nelor. The Nelor is a registered farm. The animals are registered. The Brangus, not yet. They don't have a Brangus association, but they're working on that too.
Past year, cattle exportation has reached over 40,000, according to Minister Mai. The hope is for the industry to continue blooming and someday reach to the point of exporting processed meats to Mexico and Guatemala.
Yeah, our herd is about 200,000 head of cattle. It's a small herd, but the cattle industry generates close to $90 million a year. And so it is a very important industry for us at this time. Like I said, we exported 40,000 last year. We're about that between 40 and 50,000 this year. So it's growing. And the important thing about the cattle industry is that we have a similar amount of cane farmers as we have cattle farmers. And a large percentage are small farmers, which own 50 head of cattle and less. So the trickle-down effect is very good. The small people benefit a lot. It's not like you have 4 or 5 big farmers and they benefit the most. No, this is totally the opposite. 5,400, 5,500 cattle farmers, and it's growing every year. And so it is a good industry at this time, and what we want to see in Belize is we double our herd, and that will allow us to then invest in a slaughtering facility so that we don't have to export cattle on the hoof, but we will export carcass, which is a value-added product. And that is where I want to see the industry go in that direction. But for that to happen, we need to increase the herd to twice the size. That will allow us to do that investment.
Since its inception in 2020, the Blue Creek Livestock Association has grown to host over 100 farmers, with a production of over 100,000 heads of cattle on an yearly basis.
In Blue Creek, we have approximately around 20,000 heads of cattle. That's come from young to big. And we would like to see growth in more than one way. Numbers obviously is one, but in more better equipped with better rotations where we can do more on 1 acre, like in smaller divisions, better rotations, which our association is also working on. We're looking to better the use of the land with more per acre, but that requires good management with good grasses and also good divisions. Well, I think we work very well with the Minister of Agriculture. We have had a good relationship where the Minister himself this time is from Orange Walk, which is very, very convenient for us, and he is also a cattle farmer, which also helps. He understands the industry much better than some guy that is not have had that experience or not living it. So that has made an impact where he understands the industry much better, and that's why the event today was important for us to just show him, give him a small gift of appreciation, a plaque, which just shows that, hey, we appreciate what you're doing for us.
Like the minister, Franz Rempel, the chairman of the Blue Creek Livestock Association, says the industry would greatly benefit from the exportation of processed meats in the near future.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, as you know, we're selling maybe around 60 to 70% of all cattle grown in Belize. We sell on a live hoof on the live animals, either Mexico or Guatemala, which is too bad because we also export a lot of grain and we have a lot of grass. We could grow these animals with the corn that we grow. Instead of exporting the corn and having more grass, we could grow the animals and then process them here, which would create more jobs, which would create better income for many more people because there's a good opportunity, but that requires some big investment commitment. Yeah, because of you need people to hold back instead of selling their calves at 500 pounds. You need to now wait for them to be 1,000 pounds or finished steers to slaughter, for market ready to slaughter ready. So that requires a lot of time and also inputs. You need to feed them, and then it requires could be two things. Could be an investor on the side that would buy these calves and grow them to their slaughter ready, or the same farmer, if he has another extra space, could grow them up to get them to market slaughter ready.
Following the tour, a small ceremony was hosted to welcome the minister and show appreciation for his visit. The ceremony included a presentation of an award to the minister by the chairman of the association for the continued work demonstrated by the minister and his entire team at the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise.
At this time,
for the past few years, Belize's cattle industry has seen tremendous growth, with exports growing by more than 100% in the past 4 years. Now, while the industry is experiencing continuous growth, regionally it is facing a serious threat. Countries in the region continue to report ongoing outbreaks of the New World screwworm. While the pest has not been detected in Belize, Agriculture Minister Honorable Hosemai says the industry must do its part to ensure Belize remains free of the screwworm.
The threat at this time is screwworm. Screwworms are now found 50 kilometers from the border with Honduras, in Nicaragua, 50 kilometers from the border of Honduras in territory of Nicaragua. It means that it's getting closer to us. This time they are dispersing sterile flies. Like I said, in 1994, we eradicated screwworms from Belize. So it's been quite some years and we haven't seen it. And so our practices have changed. It is a matter of time. If it's not controlled there, it will end up in Guatemala. There are estimates that close to 1 million animals move from Nicaragua all the way into Mexico and the US every year. So there are a large amount of animals that are traded informally. Belize does not import animals from any Central American country. We export. So the risk that we will have it is less than the risk that other countries in Central America have. But we have to be very careful. The practices that we used to do before was treat all wounds. Once there's blood, you treat all wounds. But more than 30 years ago, we stopped doing that because we eradicated screwworms. Today, we have to bring back those practices again. Whenever the animals are in the corral, they get hurt. Whenever you inject them and you hit a vein and there's blood coming out, you have to treat that wound. When the animals, when the calves are born, the umbilical cord has to be treated also. It's better to prevent than to later have problem. But the ministry, along with Orissa and Baja, also working on a very good plan. We have a plan to implement shortly, especially for the movement of cattle, the monitoring and surveillance of farms. Farmers need to report any case of screwworm if they have any. We are hoping that we don't have it. We will not have it, because this will then put us in a very serious position with our exports to Mexico. Mexico's protocol for us to export cattle to them indicates that if we have a case of screwworm, we will not be able to export to them for 18 months. And so we have to keep the screwworms out of Belize. So
the Senior Courts of Belize, through its Judicial Education Institute, is hosting its first ever conference on criminal justice reform, advancing the Caribbean Court of Justice's Academy for Law Needham Point Declaration. The 5-day conference, which will take place from the 2nd to the 6th of September 2024, is funded by the European Union, EU, and United Nations Development Program, UNDP, Peace Justice Project, and U.S. Embassy International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Agency, INL, and the Government of Belize. This landmark and groundbreaking initiative is the first ever in-person conference to be hosted by the recently formed Judicial Education Institute, created by Chief Justice Honorable Louise Esther Blenman. The conference will focus on advancing the Needham's Point Declaration, a pivotal framework for criminal justice reform in the Caribbean, which underscores the need for swift and fair justice for the guilty and protection of the rights of victims by identifying key areas integral to criminal justice reform, including policy and legislative interventions to address and reduce the backlog, encouraging effective police investigations and prosecutions, and adequate representation for the accused, and protection of victims' rights and key judicial interventions. The over 100 participants include police prosecutors, defense attorneys, legal aid department officials, Attorney General's ministry, Crown Counsel from the DPP's office, magistrates, and judges. The opening of the session featured keynote addresses from Acting President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, Honorable Dr. Justice Winston Anderson. Honorable Dr. Justice Winston Anderson, Acting President.
The Needham's Point Declaration is a document adopted last year, 2023, in Barbados, and it calls for the reform of the criminal justice system. As we are all aware, the criminal justice system is under severe pressure from all sides. On the one hand, we have a lot of crime. People feel unsafe in their homes, in their businesses, on the roads, on the streets. On the other hand, we have people who are accused of crime but not convicted, who are in remand centers for unduly long periods of time, 5 years, sometimes 10 years in some countries. We also have a situation where people are the victims of crimes. They have been displaced socially, psychologically, economically as well. They feel disempowered. They feel sometimes re-victimized, because we have not had the criminal justice system respond to their concerns as much as it should. And therefore the declaration was intended to look at the various ways in which the criminal justice system could be reformed. And we have made 39 recommendations I'm very pleased to say that those recommendations have been acted upon in several of our jurisdictions, and perhaps most aggressively here in Belize. I think that Belize represents the tip of the spear in terms of reform. For example, I think that the establishment of the Criminal Justice Board is so very crucial. The Criminal Justice Board, as you may know, is a body which has on it all of the relevant stakeholders in criminal justice. So it is headed by the Chief Justice, but it has representatives from the Attorney General's chambers, it has the Director of Public Prosecutions, it has people from the police, people from the prisons, people from just various sectors in the social community, and forensic department as well. And these all persons come together with an aim of trying to streamline the process for investigating crimes, for prosecuting crimes, and also for sentencing. I think that the fact that they have all come together in this way has meant that there has been a vast increase in the rate in which these criminal trials have been prosecuted. We had this morning information that in 7 months, one judge in Belize has completed 30 criminal cases. Another judge completed 29 and another 27. This has been aided by the work done by the legislature, by the Parliament, particularly the Attorney General, in establishing legislation on plea bargaining, so that if we have tough evidence, clear evidence that somebody has committed a crime, they are presented with this evidence and they are given an indication of the maximum sentence that is likely to be imposed, then they are much more likely to plead guilty, if they are guilty, of course. And then this helps with the overall progression of the cases through the system.
The agenda covers a vast array of topics critical to effective criminal justice reform. Sessions will explore judgment writing, delivery of extempore judgments, the treatment of victims and vulnerable witnesses, digital forensic science, bail and judge-alone trials. Other key areas include prosecutorial standards, the duty to court and client, sentencing guidelines, case management, identifying obstacles in case preparation and solutions, cross-examination techniques, advocacy skills, plea negotiations, the application of rules of evidence, ethics, and holistic wellness and health.
Yes, preliminary inquiry is where the magistrate would take all the evidence and determine whether or not there's a prima facie case to go to the High Court. That would be done away with. Normally, preliminary inquiry takes years to complete. If that is removed and you have what is called sufficiency hearing, wherein a determination is made whether or not there is sufficient evidence on the statements, that would reduce the backlogs. As was indicated by the Chief Justice, the Honorable Chief Justice, there are countries that have been doing this for over 15 years. So it's time for us to make that paradigm shift and accept the change and ensure that the backlog is eliminated, if not eradicated.
What would it take for us to implement that shift?
Well, we have the Criminal Justice Board, and all parties are presently on board, and we are there already. So the shift is being implemented. As you can see, the changes that have been made from January to the present day. By the reduction in the backlog of cases, it tells that we have adopted the Needham's Point Declaration.
So how long does a sufficiency hearing last?
It varies. A sufficiency hearing lasts. The magistrate would have to determine on the paper whether or not there is a sufficient case to take the matter to the High Court. So it would take much less than years. It may take a week. It may take a couple of days. A sufficiency hearing in one particular matter, if it's examined holistically, can be completed in a day or two.
The conference comes to an end on Friday. And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
We're going to need all the help we can get.
Let's get to work.
Tall, dark, and horny at 12 o'clock.
I've been waiting 40 years for this. They called themselves Ghostbusters. According to these hacks, they saved the world. No eyewitnesses. And who is found to carry the torch? Descendants of Egon Spengler. You have a miner hanging out the side of a moving vehicle, firing a laser gun indiscriminately.
Has a proton pack.
It's completely safe.
I wouldn't say completely safe.
The Ghostbusters are finished.
Right, well, overruled.
Sustained.
Thank you.
You the weird guy who buys strange old things?
Correct on both counts.
Buddy, you just hit the jackpot.
What is it?
Better question is, what's inside of it?
The parables tell of an unimaginable evil commanding an army of ghosts. With the power to kill by fear itself.
Like literally scared to death?
We might be looking at a second ice age.
We're gonna need all the help we can get.
Let's get to work.
Can I be of any help?
Melnitz in uniform. Yes.
If there's something strange, if there's something weird, who are people gonna call?
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
We're the Ghostbusters. Can I tell you something else? What? Buster makes me feel good. It makes me feel good.
Heads up. Tall, dark, and horny at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's a historic day for Dangriga, for the country of Belize. We have been waiting for 24 years to open this port.
Today, with the collaboration of the government of Belize, I am pleased to welcome you to this groundbreaking ceremony to mark the rejuvenation of the Port of Commerce Bight and the return of commerce through tourism in Dangriga. The reopening of this port under Southern Deep Port Development Limited will see significant employment, planned for over 100 employees during the 3-year construction period and over 60 full-time employees thereafter, impacting the well-being of the Dangriga and surrounding communities.
We brought some consultants from the Bahamas who has done this in several Caribbean islands, and they went all across the country, and when they came back they signaled Commerce Bight as being one of the areas with the greatest potential for packet cruises and nautical tourism.
Any developing country or developed country, for there to be long-term development, there has to be a good port. We're going to work with you, that we're going to ensure that this is a success, because your success is our success, it is Belize's success.
Works to upgrade the access road towards the community of Guinea Grass here in the Orange Walk district will commence shortly. For several years, residents of that community have been clamoring for an upgrade to their road, which has been in a terrible condition for many years. While we can confirm that residents from Guinea Grass and other surrounding villages will soon be able to enjoy a paved road, as works are scheduled to begin before the end of the year.
But that bid has closed. The contractor has been, I think, identified, and that's supposed to begin shortly.
Official groundbreaking for the commencement of that project is expected shortly. Dorothy Ann Smith Bradley has concluded her 2-year term as Auditor General as of August 31st, 2024. Reflecting on her tenure, Bradley highlighted the significant progress made in auditing public funds and combating corruption in Belize's public sector. Bradley stated that during her 2 years in office, the Office of the Auditor General made substantial advancements in ensuring transparency and accountability. She credited much of this success to the guidance and standards set by the International Organization for Supreme Audit Institutions, which supports the capacity development of Supreme Audit Institutions SAIs worldwide. She also recognized the crucial support from various stakeholders, including the public service, senators, the Belize Chamber of Commerce, the United States Embassy, NGO groups, and the media. Their collaboration was essential in driving the office's mission to promote transparency and fight corruption. It has been an honor to contribute to the reformation efforts aimed at strengthening institutions, promoting transparency, combating corruption, and ensuring accountability within the public service, Bradley stated. She expressed deep gratitude to all who supported the office's efforts during her tenure. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Tuesday, September 3rd here on Ctv3 News and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.